Lawrence City Council meeting. Pursuant to Chapter 20 of the Acts of 2022, this meeting will be hybrid, allowing participation both in person in the City Council chambers and remotely. We are on the Zoom. We're also on at the Facebook Lawrence City Council page and the YouTube City Council page. And still, our elevator is still not in service, and I have no idea when it will be in service, but once we find out, we will let you know. At this point, I will ask the clerk to please call the roll.
Councilor Levy.
Present.
Councilor De La Cruz.
Present.
Councilor Payano. Absent. Councilor Vice President Estela Reyes.
Present.
Councilor Rodriguez. Absent. Councilor Del Rosario.
Present.
Councilor Selena Reyes.
Present.
Councilor Infante.
Present.
President LaPlante.
Present. Will you please rise and join me in a moment of silence? Now will you please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? Councilors, we've got city council minutes to approve. We'll be doing them individually. We're looking for a motion to approve the minutes from August 2nd, 2022. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
By Councilor Infante, seconded by Councilor Selena Reyes. Discussion. Seeing none, I don't see any city councilors on Zoom. Roll call vote. All in favor, say not roll call. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The ayes have it. I'm now looking for a motion to approve the minutes for August the 16th. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Motion made by Councilor Infante, seconded by Councilor Levy. Discussion? Hearing none. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The ayes have it. The last set of minutes are for August 30th, 2022. Is there a motion to approve the
So
minutes?
moved.
Motion made by Councilor Selena Reyes. By Councilor Stephanie Infante, seconded by Councilor Del Rosario. Discussion? Hearing none. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
No. The ayes have it. Clerk, will you please call the roll for Councilor Payano, please?
Councilor Payano.
Present.
Thank you, Clerk. At this point, we have the City Council President would like to take a moment to congratulate two members of our distinguished body for their results in yesterday's election. We're always very, very proud of everyone who decides to take a stand in public service and decides to run for office. We are especially proud and especially fortunate that two of our members have made it to the next round, where I'm going to predict more successes. So in November. So I just want to congratulate them on their victories yesterday. At this point, we do have public participation. We all know the rules: 2.5 minutes. Bell goes off at 2 minutes. Address the chair. First person up is Mr. Mali.
Humayun Mali, 53 Chester Street. Good evening, honorable members. Tonight, we the citizen declare in unity in support of outstanding police officer, wonderful citizen, Captain Maurice Aguilar. We support these distinguished Lawrence police officers and head of patrolman union. We demand of you and Honorable Mayor Brian De Pena contract for Lawrence Police now. Lawrence Police Department, with the impeccable leadership by Honorable Chief Roy Vask, has done an excellent job to protect our citizens. We demand the best contract and support for Lawrence Police Union and Senior Officers Union. We, the Laurentian, are proud of our DPW workers. Their sweat and hard work makes our city a beautiful city. We are thankful to Honorable Superintendent Cynthia Paris for granting our teachers a contract. We demand the best contract for striking Lawrence Public Work cafeteria workers. We support their union. Our city, one city under God, best example of respect for union rights, firefighters' rights, police officers and teachers' union rights. We remind you of your campaign promise. In order to have safe Lawrence, prosper Lawrence, we must offer the best contract to our great police officers. Remember tonight in this city hall, we stand united in support of one of the best Lawrence police officers, Captain Maurice Aguilar. We are behind you and support you. Contract for Lawrence Police now. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Molly. The next speaker is Dick Russell.
Thank you. Name's Dick Russell, 34 Cross Street in City. I'd like to, again, congratulate the two of yous as you move up the political ladder. Just don't forget where you came from, Lawrence. We need all the help we can. Now on to the nasty stuff. Yard waste pickup. Who's responsible for yard waste pickups? Is that supposed to be regular trash? Is that supposed to be recycling? Or can the trash company just say, pardon my mouth, the hell with it, it's not my bag? I was going to bring the trash bag in, the yard waste bag in, but it's been sitting at the curb for over a week. If I picked it up for show and tell, it would be on the floor, the remains of it. Next thing, the streets that are being repaved, they get milled down, ground down. What is the, where should those millings, as they call it, where should those millings be disposed of? I have an alley behind my house. Over the weekend, I found that they had dumped and paved or graded out the millings from some street on that alley. Is that acceptable? Is that part of their contract? Are those millings a hazardous waste? Again, these are questions I throw out. With that, again, I congratulate both of you. Thank you for the time.
Thank you so much, and that concludes public participation for this evening. The comments, addresses, and the names are being submitted to the city clerk for our permanent records. Thank you. We're going to go right through public hearings, and then we're going to change it up a little bit and go to the ordinance committee and then budget and finance committee. So the first on the public hearings is public hearing for document number 14821. Clerk, please read the public hearing notice.
Notice is hereby given that the Lawrence City Council will hold a public hearing on Wednesday, September 7, 2022 at 7 p.m. at the public meeting of the Lawrence City Council in the City Council Chambers, 200 Common Street, Lawrence, Mass. Pursuant to Chapter 20 of the Acts of 2022, this meeting will be hybrid, allowing participation both in person in the City Council Chamber and remotely via Zoom. To receive access codes for remote participation, contact the City Clerk at 978-620-3233 prior to the meeting. The purpose of the hearing is to gather testimony, information, and public input. Be it ordained by the City Council of the City of Lawrence that the revised ordinances of the City of Lawrence are hereby further amended by adding to Section 10.28.100A of the Municipal Code, stop signs and flashing red signals, the following paragraphs in their appropriate alphabetical order. Alston Street eastbound drivers on Alston Street and Woodland Street. Alston Street westbound drivers on Alston Street and Woodland Street. To the extent that there exist any ordinances to the contrary, they are hereby repealed in that respect only.
Thank you. The public hearing is now open. Are there any members of the public who wish to speak on this matter? Seeing none, the public hearing is now closed. Councilors?
Motion to approve?
Motion to approve by the Vice President, seconded by Councilor Selena Reyes. Discussion. Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The ayes have it. Next document is document number 15122. Madam Clerk?
Notice is hereby given that the Lawrence City Council will hold a public hearing on Wednesday, September 7, 2022, at 7 p.m. at a public meeting of the Lawrence City Council in the City Council Chambers, 200 Common Street, Lawrence, Mass. Pursuant to Chapter 20 of the Acts of 2022, this meeting will be hybrid, allowing participation both in person in the City Council chamber and remotely via Zoom. Be it ordained by the City Council of the City of Lawrence that the revised ordinances of the City of Lawrence are hereby further amended by adding the following new paragraph to Section 10.36.260 of the Municipal Code, 15-minute parking to be inserted in the proper alphabetical order. Common Street from the southwest corner of Newbury Street, traveling west from a point at 185 feet to a point at 207 feet, between the hours of 6:30 a.m. to 9 p.m., Monday through Sunday. This places the signs on the eastbound side of the sidewalk in front of 106 Common Street. To the extent that there exists any ordinances to the contrary, they are hereby repealed in that respect only.
Public hearing is now open. Are there any members of the public who wish to speak on this item? Seeing none, the public hearing is now closed. Councilors?
Motion to approve and waive the 30 days.
Motion made by the Vice President, seconded by Councilor Piano. Discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The ayes have it. Councilors, to speed this process up just a little bit, I'm looking for a motion to dispense with the reading of the beginning part of each one of these public hearings.
Moved.
Motion made by
Second.
Councilor Piano, seconded by the Vice President. Discussion. Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The ayes have it. Clerk, document number 15422.
Be it ordained by the City Council of the City of Lawrence that the revised ordinances of the City of Lawrence are hereby further amended by adding the following new paragraph to Section 10.36.340 of the Municipal Code, handicap parking to be inserted in the proper alphabetical order. Brookfield Street, east side from the southeast corner of Holly Street to a point 60 feet running north to a point at 80 feet. This places the sign on the east side of the sidewalk in front of 88 Brookfield Street. To the extent that there exist any ordinances to the contrary, they are hereby repealed in that respect only.
Public hearing is now open. Are there any members of the public who wish to speak on this item? Seeing none, the public hearing is now closed. Councilors?
Motion to approve and waive the 30 days.
Motion made and seconded by Councilor Levy. Discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The ayes have it. The next document is document number 15622.
Be it ordained by the City Council of the City of Lawrence that the revised ordinances of the City of Lawrence are hereby further amended by adding the following new paragraph to Section 10.36.260 of the Municipal Code, 15-minute parking to be inserted in the proper alphabetical order. Howard Street, east side from a point 20 feet northerly of Platt Street to a point 40 feet northerly of Platt Street, between the hours of 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. This places the signs on the eastbound side of the sidewalk in front of 477-485 Howard Street. To the extent that there exist any ordinances to the contrary, they are hereby repealed in that respect only.
The public hearing is now open. Are there any members of the public who wish to speak on this item? Seeing none, the public hearing is now closed. Council Levy?
Motion to approve?
Motion to
Second.
approve has been made and seconded by the Vice President. Discussion? Hearing none. All in favor say aye.
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 Opposed, no. The ayes have it. Next document is document number 17022. Clerk?
Be it ordained by the City Council of the City of Lawrence that the revised ordinances of the City of Lawrence are hereby further amended by adding Section 10.28.100A to the Municipal Code, stop signs and flashing red signals, the following paragraph in their appropriate alphabetical order. McKinley Street eastbound drivers on McKinley Street at intersection with Pierre Marquette Street. To the extent that there exist any ordinances to the contrary, they are hereby repealed in that respect only.
Public hearing is now open. Are there any members of the public who wish to speak on this item? Seeing none, the public hearing is now closed. Councilors, what's your pleasure? Councilor Infante? Make a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
Motion
Second.
to approve has been made and seconded by the Vice President. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The ayes have it. Document number 21322. Madam Clerk?
Be it ordained by the City Council of the City of Lawrence that the revised ordinances of the City of Lawrence are hereby further amended by adding the following new paragraph to Section 10.36.260 of the Municipal Code. 15-minute parking to be inserted in the proper alphabetical order. South Union Street, east side from a point 20 feet northerly of Farnham Street to a point 40 feet northerly of Farnham Street, between the hours of 8 a.m. to 7 p.m. This places the signs on the eastbound side of the sidewalk in front of 204-206 South Union Street. To the extent that there exist any ordinances to the contrary, they are hereby repealed in that respect only.
The public hearing is now open. Are there any members of the public who wish to speak on this item? Seeing none, the public hearing is now closed. Councilors?
To approve.
Motion is made to approve by Council Vice President, seconded by Councilor Payano. Discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it. Document number 22122. Madam Clerk?
Be it ordained by the City Council of the City of Lawrence that the revised ordinances of the City of Lawrence are hereby further amended by adding the following new paragraph to Section 10.36.340 of the Municipal Code, handicap parking, to be inserted in the proper alphabetical order. Lynch Street, east side from the northwest corner of Hampton Street to a point 111 feet running south to a point at 131 feet. This places the sign on the east side of the sidewalk in front of 6 Lynch Street. To the extent that there exist any ordinances to the contrary, they are hereby repealed in that respect only.
Public hearing is now open. Hearing is now closed. Councilors?
Motion to approve.
Motion made by Councilor Anna Levy, seconded by Councilor Payano. Discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it. Next document is document number 22222.
Be it ordained by the City Council of the City of Lawrence that the revised ordinances of the City of Lawrence are hereby further amended by adding the following new paragraph to Section 10.40.060 of the Municipal Code, permit parking streets designated, to be inserted in the proper alphabetical order. Juniper Street, east side from Alder Street, traveling north from a point 239 feet easterly of the intersection of South Union Street to a point 501 feet easterly of the intersection of South Union Street. 2-hour parking except resident permit. Juniper Street, west side, from Alder Street traveling north from a point 80 feet easterly of the intersection of South Union Street to a point 501 feet easterly off the intersection of South Union Street. 2-hour parking except resident permit only. To the extent that there exists any ordinances to the contrary, they are hereby repealed in that respect only.
Public hearing is now open. Are there any members of the public who wish to speak on this item? Seeing none, the public hearing is now closed. Councilor Del Rosario?
Motion to approve and wait 30 days.
Motion made, seconded by Councilor Payano. Discussion. Quick discussion. Was there an engineering report? Was that by the police department? Did they provide that engineering report? Did they do that? Did, okay. All in favor say aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it. Next document is document number 23322.
Be it ordained by the City Council of the City of Lawrence that the revised ordinances of the City of Lawrence are hereby further amended by adding to Section 10.28.100A of the Municipal Code, stop signs and flashing red signals, the following paragraph in their appropriate alphabetical order. Arlington Street, westbound drivers on Arlington Street at intersection with Spruce Street. Arlington Street, eastbound drivers on Arlington Street at intersection with Spruce Street. To the extent that there exist any ordinances to the contrary, they are hereby repealed in that respect only.
The public hearing is now open. Are there any members of the public who wish to speak on this item? Seeing none, the public hearing is now closed. Councilors?
Motion to approve and wait the 30 days?
Motion's been made by Councilor Del Rosario, seconded by Councilor Anna Levy. Discussion. Seeing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it. Next document is document number 24822.
The purpose of safe hearing is to gather testimony, information, and public input concerning a petition presented by the Massachusetts Electric Company, DBA National Grid, and Verizon New England, Inc., requesting the City of Lawrence, Mass., by and through the City Council members for permission to locate poles, wires, and fixtures, including the necessary sustaining and protective fixtures along and across the following public way: Andover Street, National Grid to install one new JO riser pole on Andover Street, beginning at a point approximately 12 feet southwest of the center line of the intersection of Andover Street and Tewksbury Street, and continuing approximately 142 feet in a west direction in front of 585 Andover Street to feed electric service to a pad located on the customer's property. This is to provide power to the building at 585 Andover Street. Persons wishing to be heard shall be afforded the opportunity.
The public hearing is now open. Are there any members of the public who wish to speak on this matter? Mr. Boucher, you have the floor.
Dave Boucher, National Grid, 1101 Turnpike Street, North Andover. The Community Action Council came to us asking for a service for 585 Andover Street. The two adjacent existing poles that are there are not available to bring an underground service into the property. That's why we're asking for this new pole tonight, 32-50, in front of the property. Then we'd be able to go underground to a transformer pad to provide new electric service. And that's pretty much it. It's an inline pole, and we'd be asking to go underground from the pole and into the property, private property, to service them.
Thank you. Are there any other members of the public who wish to speak on this item? Seeing none, the public hearing is now closed. Councilors? Is there a motion?
Motion to approve.
Motion made by the Vice
Second.
President to approve, seconded by Councilor Payano. Discussion. Mr. Boucher, because this is a new pole, is there a fee associated with putting a new pole in the city?
Not for who would the fee be for? You mean the customer?
For the utility that looks, is the applicant for the pole?
I'm not sure. I don't think there's usually a fee that we pay the city. Is that what you mean?
Yeah, that's the question. I know there's sometimes fees associated with the placement of poles and utilization of poles. It is some sort of property right, and I'm just wondering if there's a fee associated with that. I'm just not sure.
I know what you're getting at. I believe that the fee, from my understanding is, say there's 1,000 poles in the city, the city gets a certain amount of money per pole to have our poles located on the city's property. I have no idea what that money is, but I know that it's just like kind of like a rental thing that we have to pay for every town, town and city. So that's about the only fee that I know of that we'd have to pay. So
we're gonna have a vote here in a moment, but offline, could you send me an email with what that fee is, and I can just corroborate that with our finance group?
Okay, what I can do is I can have, Shemat, contact you. I believe she's a representative for, a liaison for us, for Lawrence.
Great, great. Thank you. Any further discussion on this matter? Counselor Levy? No, I'm sorry, Counselor Delacruz?
Thank you, Council President. There is a fee of $100, and the check was made to the City of Lawrence.
There you go. Asked and answered. Thank you very much, Counselor Delacruz. Any further discussion on this matter? Seeing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it. The next document is document number 24922.
Purpose of said hearing is to gather testimony, information, and public input concerning a petition presented by the Massachusetts Electric Company, DBA National Grid, and Verizon New England, Inc., requesting the City of Lawrence, Mass. By and through its City Council members for permission to locate poles, wires, and fixtures, including the necessary sustaining and protective fixtures along and across the following public way: Auburn Street, National Grid to install one JO riser pole on Auburn Street, beginning at a point approximately 20 feet northwest of the center line of the intersection of County Street and Auburn Street, and continuing approximately 56 feet in the northwest direction in front of property of 99 Auburn Street to upgrade power to the school at 300 Hampshire Street. Persons wishing to be heard shall be afforded the opportunity.
Public hearing is now open. Are there any members of the public who wish to speak on this item?
Dave Boucher, National Grid.
Mr. Boucher, the floor is yours again.
Over here at 99 Auburn Street, it's a property that's owned by Central Catholic High School. They are asking for more power, and we'd like to place a 500 kVA pad there, so we need to go underground to get to it. The existing pole 2536 that's there on the drawing that we've provided is not available. It's very similar to the previous situation where we're between poles and there's nowhere or no way to get our power into there except for putting a pole between the poles. And as we're showing, it's only about 25 feet from the existing pole, and then we'd go right into the property right at the corner of it says it's County Street. I think that might be Fairmont Street in Auburn, but it's at 99 Auburn Street.
Let's make note of that in our notes. Is there anybody else who wishes to speak on this item? Seeing none, the public hearing is now closed. Counselors? Looking for a motion?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion made by Councilor Infante, seconded by the Vice President. Discussion? Discussion. Mr. Del Rosario.
Question to the clerk. They pay $100. How much does it cost us to publicize and all that stuff? I mean, National Grid come in, put a poll, give us $100, but what is the cost to put it in the newspaper? To public hearing? What is the actual cost for the city?
It's about like $258.
So roughly we giving them our land and also giving them $150 back out of $100 that they pay us. Thank you.
Any other members of the council wish to comment on this? I know, Councilor, you do have an item on the agenda somewhere. I think it's in the Budget and Finance Committee that's dealing with this exact point. So I appreciate your digging in and looking into it. So it's very much appreciated. If there's no further discussion on this matter, I'll call the question. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The ayes have it. We're going to jump a little bit around. We're going to do one personnel committee. We're going to deal with Mr. Coco, an appointment. We're going to look for a report from the personnel committee. I then want to go from there to the ordinance committee and get those out, and starting off with LGH Hospital, and then we can finish those up, and then we can go back to the top with the budget and finance. So I'm looking for a committee report. If there's no objection, take this out of order. I'm looking for a committee report for document number 27622, the appointment of Anthony J. Coco to the Lawrence ZBA. I'm just looking for someone to give the committee report. Is that you? Mr. Bayano.
Mr. Chair, you know, I'm just kidding, Mr. Council President. Good evening. The Personnel Committee met on August 22nd, and we voted unanimously to favorably recommend the appointment of Anthony Coco to the Zoning Board of Appeals, and I present that in the form of a motion.
Second.
Motion made by the chair of the Personnel Committee, seconded by the Vice President. Discussion. No discussion. Counselor Levy? Why do I keep calling you Counselor? Counselor Dela Cruz?
Mr. Coco, thank you for taking this opportunity to be part of the zoning board. We understand that you don't get paid for this job, but we need you, and we need you to stay there for 3 years, 4 years maybe.
Thank you.
Thank
I'm looking
you.
forward to it.
Yes.
Thank you, Council President. Thank you, councilors.
If there's no further discussion, I'll call the question. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The ayes have it. Thank you. I'd like to, if there's no objection, I'd like to do the ordinance committee in reverse order. I'd like to get a report on document number 29022, Lawrence General Hospital Emergency Resolution. Would the vice chair of the ordinance committee be willing to give that report? A motion's been sent by the ordinance committee with a favorable recommendation to adopt the resolution by Councilor Levy, seconded by Councilor Selena Reyes. Discussion? I'm going to ask that the president of Lawrence General Hospital, Ms. Wilson, Deborah Wilson, to please come to the city council and kind of give us an update. Councilor, as you may be aware, we did a resolution some time ago in support of the hospital, and I think it's time now to get a bit of an update and more information about the hospital and maybe where the hospital stands.
Sure,
Welcome.
absolutely. So I'm Deb Wilson, president of Lawrence General Hospital. I appreciate this opportunity to come back here to see you again. But before I explain the reason why I'm here, I want to thank you for your help last June. What you did in sending the resolution to the governor was very helpful, and it did get us the funds that we needed. Your resolution, together with Congresswoman Trahan and Lawrence State House delegation led by Representative Moran, including Representatives Devers, Minicucci, Wynn, and Senators Feingold and DeZoglio, got us those funds. And congratulations, Pavel Payano and Councilor, for your win. I am very excited that we will have 2 terrific new members of the state legislature fighting for all of our collective interest. So I'm here to provide you with an update, and as you know, last year we got that support and we entered the winter hoping that we would be able to stabilize and move forward. But we hit a surge like no other. It was the 3rd surge that we faced, and we had more than 100 COVID patients in our hospital. We had more than 100 staff out sick with COVID. It was so intense in January, there were no beds, there was no place to transfer patients, and we ended up getting state support. We got the Department of Defense that came in with nurses, doctors, respiratory therapists, and we had the National Guard come in to help with transportation and patient observation. It was about as intense as it gets. And here we are again. We submitted an application to the state. requesting support for the lost revenue and the expenses that we incurred during that incredibly difficult time. And we haven't received the funding that we need. As you know, the legislature did not pass hospital relief funding at the end of their session. This community deserves the care that Lawrence General provides. And without this support for all of the lost revenue that we had experienced dealing with COVID and the expenses that we incurred dealing with COVID, we will not be able to continue the services that we provide. I am happy to answer any questions that you have, and I hope you know that I wouldn't be back here if it wasn't a matter of continuing the vital services that we provide to this community. So I'm happy to answer your questions.
Thank you, President Wilson. Our counselors, the president of the LGH is here before us. Does any counselors have any questions regarding the situation or the viability of the hospital?
Council President?
Council Piano.
I don't have a question, just a quick statement. First, I want to thank you for being here. I think, probably speak for all of us where we all understand the importance that the hospital has, not just its impact on our economy, but the well-being of our citizens, and I would say not just for Lawrence, but for the entire region. So I will definitely be in support of this, and I hope that the state is able to move on this as quickly as possible. I think it's important to note that your presence in the community, in a community that is not as high an income as some of these other hospitals have, and I think your situation is unique according to hospitals across the state, and I wish that the state sort of took that into account and made things a little bit more easier for you, so that way you wouldn't have to be coming in every year asking for this. But thank you for coming to us and ensuring that we're part of this process.
Thank you. Any other members wish to speak on this item? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The ayes have it. The resolution is adopted. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Continuing on in reverse order, document number 27422, Pawnbrokers License Jewelry Incorporated. Madam Vice Chair of the Ordinance Committee.
Item 27422, the pawnbroker license for Brothers Jewelries Inc. That was made by Francisco Marcelino and was sent with full recommendation, and I send it as a formal motion.
Motion's been made and properly second. Discussion? Is Mr. Marcelino here this evening? Thank you. And thank you for being here. We've asked that Mr. Marcelino be here this evening because probably for some very good reasons was not here during the Ordinance Committee meeting, and I think that the Ordinance Committee typically wants to see the members attend, the applicants attend, so we're glad that you're here, just to put a name to the face and make sure that you are eager and earnest about getting the license. So, is there anything you want to add at this point regarding the license?
No.
Okay. Thank you. Are there any other members of the council wish to speak on this item?
Yes, Mr. President.
Councilor Levy.
It's just only to remind people that when they submit an application, we want to see then any of the committee or any of the full council when they are requested. So not just only for you, it's for everybody who make a submission of any application.
Okay.
All right?
All right. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So, very good. Thank you, Counselor. Any other comments on this item? Seeing none? All in favor say aye.
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 Opposed, no. The ayes have it. The matter is adopted. Thank you. Good luck, sir. Next, document number 27322, Small Wireless Facilities Annual Recertification. Counselor Vice Chair Levy.
Item 27322, this is the Small YRF Facility Annual Recertification, an affidavit by Celico Palnechi DBA Perizon was sent to the full council with favor recommendation, and I make as a formal motion.
Motion's been made. Is there a second? Seconded by Counselor Selena Reyes. Discussion? Seeing none? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The ayes have it. The last ordinance committee item is document number 267A, 22. Madam Vice Chair?
Item 267A22 is a resolution in support of requiring payment for prevailing wage of all working performing private utility construction in the city of Lawrence. It was sent to the full council with favor recommendation, and I made it as a formal motion.
The motion's been made. Is there a second? Seconded by Counselor Payano. Discussion? Chair's got a question. So is this just for utility workers and no other workers, or just, I just want to make sure I'm clear on that.
So, there are a few people that I wanted.
Motion is now made by
Second.
Counselor Payano to table the matter. It has been properly seconded by Counselor Infante. No discussion on the table matters. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The ayes have it. Going back up to the top, on the Budget and Finance Committee, Chairman of the Budget and Finance Committee, Mr. Payano, would you be willing to give the report for document number 27822?
Yes, sir. On August 24th, the Committee on Budget and Finance met, and we recommended by unanimous vote that we refer item 278-22, order to expend grant funds, Eastern Mass Gang and Gun Violence Initiative, for $30,000 to the full council, and I present that in the form of a motion.
Motion made, seconded by the Vice President. Discussion. Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The ayes have it. Document 27922, Mr. Chairman.
Council President, the Budget and Finance Committee recommended on August 24th by unanimous vote that we send their recommendation, we send item 279-22 to the full council, order to expend grant funds, PSN grant, classified with technology, $95,000. Full council present that with full motion.
Second.
Motion made by the Chairman, seconded by the Vice President. Discussion. Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The ayes have it. Document number 28022, Mr. Chairman.
Second.
Motion made by the Chairman, seconded by the Vice President. Discussion. Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The ayes have it. Document number 28122, Mr. Piano.
Thank you, Council President. We met, and the Budget and Finance Committee recommended by unanimous vote that we send to the full council with a favor recommendation, item 281-22, order to expend grant funds for FY 2022 DOJ JAG Award, $47,493.
Motion's been made by the Chairman.
I present that in the form of motion.
Motion's been made by the Chairman, seconded by the Vice President. Discussion. Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
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 Opposed, no. The ayes have it. The next document is document number 28222.
Thank you, Council President. The Budget and Finance Committee voted by unanimous vote to send to the full council with a favorable recommendation, item 282-22, order to expend grant funds, BJIS subaward from UTAC, Inc., to amount of $300,000.
Second.
Motion's been made by the Chairman, seconded by the Vice President. Discussion. Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Just one discussion, I'm sorry.
Discussion, Mr. Piano.
So I just want to mention, I think it's always great when we are in the Budget and Finance Committee and we're seeing our departments bringing in grant funds to the city. So I just want to thank former Councilor Eileen Burnell and the rest of the police department for those efforts.
Very good. Any further discussion on this matter? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The ayes have it. Document number 28322.
Council President, the Budget and Finance Committee met and we voted by unanimous vote to send to the full council with a favorable recommendation, item 283-22, order to expend grant funds, Lawrence, Mass. In motion, $110,752. And I
Motion.
present that in the form of a motion.
Second.
Motion's made by the chairman, seconded by the vice president. Discussion. Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The ayes have it. Document number 28422.
Thank you, Council President. Item 28422, the Budget and Finance Committee voted by unanimous vote to send to the full council with a favorable recommendation, order to expend grant funds, Project U54, $8,000. And I present that to the
Second.
Motion made by the chairman, seconded by Councilor Levy. Discussion. Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The ayes have it. Document number 286.
Council President, item 286-22, the Budget and Finance Committee met, and by unanimous vote, we voted to send to the full council with a favorable recommendation, item 286-22, to allow the expenditure from the Massachusetts Emergency Management Agency, BRIC, Building Resiliency Hazard Mitigation Grant, $57,450. And I present that in the form of a motion.
Motion's been made.
Second.
And seconded by the vice president. Discussion. Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The ayes have it. Council, at this time, document 28722, the chair is going to be given the committee report. I will be recusing myself because of a conflict of interest because of my employment. I will be handing off the gavel to the vice president for her to lead the discussion.
Council, Madam Vice President, the Budget and Finance Committee met, and we voted unanimously to send item 28722 to the full council with a favorable recommendation. Item 287-22 is to allow the expenditure from the Department of Environmental Protection, Merrimack Paper Demolition and Remediation Project to a grant of $500,000. I present that in the form of a motion, ask for discussion.
Here. Motion has been made, properly second. Any question?
Discussion.
Discussion, Councilor Payano.
Thank you, Madam Vice President. I'd like to ask a question of Mr. Dan McCarthy.
Good evening, Daniel McCarthy, Acting Planning Director.
Thank you, Director McCarthy. Could you please give a quick summary? I think this is a very substantial grant, and it's for a very important project that is extremely important to the economic development of the city. And I do have a question, but I'm hoping that you could give a quick summary, not just for the council,
Certainly.
but for
I'd be
those that
glad
are
to.
listening. Thank you.
I'd be glad to. So the city's been actively working to remediate and to rehabilitate this piece of property that we took in tax title nearly 8 years ago. This is the third time I've been before this council requesting funds. We had previously had $1.5 million in money that was set aside for the demolition of the existing paper mill. That went out to bid, and we have contracts now, and that demolition should start. This $500,000 is going towards remediation, which is the removal of the contaminants in the soil. We've already identified 4 hot spots that have various levels of contamination. Some of it's fuel, some of it's PCBs, and some of it's arsenic. So those are the contaminants that will be removing from the soil once the demolition is completed. So this would probably be like a secondary phase after the demolition of that building comes down, which we expect to come down in the next 2 or 3 months.
Thank you. So for these funds, do you know yet who's going to be doing the demolition? Or is this something that happens after we allocate the grants?
I guess it's a fortuitous date, because actually there was a selection bid that was done. The number 2 bidder filed a protest. That's actually was heard today at the Inspector General's office, the protest. I don't know the results of that. I haven't spoken to the city attorney yet, but I hope to have that information tomorrow. Whichever way it goes, we'll be appointing one of the 2 companies as the winning bidder.
Could you name those 2 companies?
The company with the lowest bid was SNR Development. It's a contracting company out of Lowell, Mass. And the number 2 bidding company, the one who filed the protest, is a company called Ray Service, which is a Ray Service Inc., RAYSERVICE, Ray Service Incorporated. And that's a company that's located in Lawrence.
Do you have any idea if, as far as what they pay their wages to their workers?
I don't.
Okay. All right, thank you. So I think that definitely I'd be interested in knowing who got those bids. I think one of the questions that I know I was asking earlier on was around sort of the bidding process in this, and in others I've asked as well. So I'd appreciate if we got that follow-up information.
I will keep you up to date on that.
All right, thank you. Thank you, Madam Vice President.
Thank you. Any other counselor? Here none. All those in favor?
Aye.
The ayes
Aye.
have it.
Thank you.
Thank you. No. Oh. Roll call.
Councilor Levy.
Yes.
Councilor De La Cruz.
Yes.
Councilor Payano.
Yes.
Council Vice President Estela Reyes.
Yes.
Councilor Rodriguez. Absent. Councilor Del Rosario.
Yes.
Councilor Selena Reyes.
Yes.
Councilor Infante.
Yes.
President LaPlante recused.
Thank you.
Thank you, Vice President. Appreciate that. The last item under Budget and Finance is document number 28822. Mr. Chairman?
Thank you, Council President. The Budget and Finance Committee met, and by a 3-to-1 vote, we voted to send to the full council as a committee report with some compromise positions that the entire design team attends this meeting and meets or attempts to meet with counselors individually. So I believe that there was an attempt to do that. So we present this as a committee report, item 288-22, approval of funding appropriation and borrowing authorization for the Oliver School project, an increase of $20 million.
There's a motion for a committee report. It's been made by the chairman, seconded by Councilor Reyes. Discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, except, I'm sorry, Councilor De La Cruz.
I have a question. That increase is part of the school?
So I think that this is a committee report. I think the answer is that they're looking for additional funding. So I don't know where the next motion is going to go about the substance. By the way, do we need to order a public hearing on this document? We do? Okay.
But we need to.
So first of all, so we're not going to have any ultimate votes this evening on this, but right now, there's a motion just to accept the committee report. Is there any further discussion on the committee report? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The ayes have it.
Council
Mr.
President,
Chairman?
I'd like to make a motion that we send, item 288-22 for a public hearing.
Second.
A motion has been made to order a public hearing for document 28822. It's been properly seconded by the Vice President. Discussion. So just because it was brought up, two items. I know that Ms. Hernandez, you've been very good about getting us information to meet. Counselors, this is an opportunity, if we so choose. I encourage you to take advantage of this opportunity and respond. There was an email that was sent out as early as today, and that second one, correct? Okay, there's three, all right. 3 emails have been sent out. So if you have an interest in this, we can get more in depth about the process, the project, and the need for additional funding, this would be a perfect time to get that information. I encourage all of you to do that. And to answer the previous question by one of our colleagues, this public hearing will be made for an additional loan order of $20 million for the Oliver School. So that's what we're about to vote on, to order a public hearing. So the motion's been made, it's been properly seconded. Any discussion on the motion to order a public hearing? Seeing none. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The ayes have it. Thank you, counselors. We're now going to go to the, let's go down to the Personnel Committee. We've taken care of the 276, the appointment of Mr. Coco. At this point, I'd like to get a motion. I'd like to get the committee report for document number 17622. Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Council President. The Personnel Committee met on August 22nd, and by unanimous vote, we voted to present item 176-22 as a committee report. Within this committee report, this is the review of the city clerk applications. There were 3 candidates that we are sending to the full councils, whose names we're sending to the full council, and they are Eileen Bernal, Ted Teichert, and Damaris Ruiz. And I present that as a committee report.
Motion
Second.
to send up a committee report has been made by the chair and seconded by the vice president. All in favor, discussion. I mean, at this point, I think what might be in order, I haven't thought this all the way through, we certainly go and put that aside, but we can at this point put the nomination, maybe we just do that. Maybe we just
I am, whatever the council president feels like is the most efficient process.
Okay. The motion's been made, just a committee report, made and seconded. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The ayes have it. What I would think would be in order now is to put before the city council the names of the 3 individuals. And then this is how I think the best way to do this. We have, as the chairman has said, we have 3 individuals who are the finalists for the clerk's position. What we could do at this point is to have a motion to engage into a discussion with an interview with these 3 individuals, with then a vote at one point to get to 5. We need to get 5 votes to get a finalist or a person as the city clerk's position. We can ask whatever questions we want at this point, and then if we don't get 5 votes on the first round, the person with the least amount of votes will be pushed. We will reduce that by 1, and the top 2 vote getters will then have a vote till we get to 5. That's probably the best and easy and cleanest way to get to this point. So is that clear on the? It's not clear.
No, it's not clear to me.
Not clear. Okay.
So, Council President, so it sounds like you're asking that we make a vote to enter in discussion to.
I'd like to see a motion that we put before the city council the 3 finalists before us, and at that point we can have we can have a discussion at that point of which of the interview, the discussion, the questions to the
Sure,
candidates.
so moved.
Second.
Motion to bring before the city council Ms. Ruiz, Ms. Burnell, and Mr. Teichert as nominees. Motion been made and properly second. Discussions, questions?
Discussion.
Candidates, Mr. Payano.
All right, thank you, Council President. So before we begin, I just want to thank the members of the Personnel Committee and the Council President for moving this process forward. We met with, what was it? I think it was like over 20 individuals. I am particularly glad that the members of the Personnel Committee we were able to stick with a certain format. We met with everybody. We asked them the same questions to make sure that the process was fair, and everybody got a score where we were. Everybody got a score, and then at the end of the day, the three individuals that you see in front of us are the individuals with the highest scores out of those folks that applied. I want to thank everyone that applied. I think that every individual that we met with, at least I ended up leaving hoping that there was some other position within the city that they could apply to, because there were some incredible individuals with a lot of passion that wanted to work here, and I thought that was amazing to see. That being said, Council President, if it makes sense, would you like me to have each of the individuals come before us and ask them a question? Is that what you're looking for?
We certainly would be, in order to ask the candidates whatever questions, whatever candidates you have in mind, to whatever questions you want at this point.
Okay.
Mr. President, I have a question.
Councilor Levy?
I don't know if I'm a little confused right now, but I remember that we made it, we interviewed the people in a executive section. So just one by one first, and then at the end, we took everybody out and get, the people in and presented whoever that it was decided. So we're gonna change the rules this time, or?
No, I don't believe we're changing it. These are the finalists. It's a public discussion at this point. We had our executive sessions during the personnel committees where individuals came in the back room. We had one-on-one, so the other people didn't know what the questions were. Now we're in a public setting. Now the finalists are made public. So this is an opportunity for us to engage in a public setting those questions. I think what you might be thinking is when we had the opportunity after we selected someone to go into executive session to discuss the contract. And that is something that we would go into executive session once we find the person that we would like to engage in. We need to figure out what we're going to, the numbers and all that kind of stuff. That is when we're going into executive session.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Payano, you had the floor. Welcome, Ms. Burnell.
Thank you, Councilors. Eileen Burnell. I live at 257 Mount Vernon Street here in Lawrence.
Thank you, Ms. Burnell. So I'll just ask, because it sounds for this process, we're looking to get every applicant in front of us. So I will just ask, and I'll try to ask this of everybody, just an opening question to get us started. So Ms. Burnell, why are you interested in this position?
Thank you, Councilor. First of all, congratulations to you, and thank you all for the opportunity to interview with you. I appreciate it very much. And honestly, it's really a privilege to be considered, so thank you for choosing me to be a finalist. I live in Lawrence. I'm very invested in our city, and I'm very committed to our city. But the city clerk position in particular is interesting to me because I really think my skill set uniquely qualifies me for this position. I sat where you all sit. I know what it's like to be a counselor and to rely on your clerk. I had the opportunity briefly to serve as our interim clerk, which I enjoyed very much. And I really think that, come to you with 25 years as an attorney, practicing in the area. I am still an attorney in good standing, although I am not practicing currently. I just really feel like I would bring a lot to help you. I think when I look at what the clerk does, I really see the three different aspects of that role. I look at it as supporting the council, as maintaining the records, and as running your elections. And I think those are three things I would do well for you. And I think that watching the city, I saw some growth under Diane LeBlanc. I thought she did a very good job. I was actually disappointed to see how short her tenure was. I thought she had growth going in a really positive direction. I'd really like to continue that growth. I feel like she took some of the physical layout issues and really resolved them, and also some of the staffing issues. She feel like she did some really good things for our customer service. One of the complaints I remember when I was the mayor's chief of staff was customer service issues in that office. And I think that is a top-down mentality. I think if you have a boss that has a great attitude and brings an upbeat personality to that role, I think it is going to trickle down to your staff. It's something I would really hope to develop with the staff there further. I think you have a good staff in that office. I like everyone in there. I think I would work well with them. And I do think that I would be a good attribute to your office, and I hope you would consider me for that position. I'm not sure if that was specific enough for what you're looking for, but if there's anything else I can add, please let me know.
So, Ms. Burnell, thank you for answering the question. It was just open-ended questions, just to get us started and seeing if anybody else has other questions. So I'll relinquish the floor, Council President.
Anybody else have any other questions for either Ms. Burnell or any other candidates that are here? We've got all three candidates here at this point.
Councilor President, I do not have a question, but I want just to make a suggestion. If all the rest of the councilor, they agree to it, that Councilor Payano continue asking the question, and we all can hear the answer, since you're going to be passing in open to only the one question, all the question the same to the three candidates.
It's really up to the council if they wish to go there. The only thing that I would add and request is that we mix it up a little bit, because there's an advantage or a disadvantage of being the first person versus being the last person to speak on the question. So if you mix it up a little bit, then you get to share the joys of being the first person to answer the question, if that makes sense. Are there any other questions? Mr. Pavel, Mr. Payano, continue if you have any more. There's a lot of pressure on you, Counselor, to ask all the questions.
It's up to you, Council President, to continue.
He's going to be taking more pressure than that, so I think it...
I see where this is going. This does not preclude other councils. If you want to allow this to go forward, it's really up to you. So,
well,
there you go, Counselor.
Council President, I sit next to the Vice President, and she constantly, gives me pressure, so I'll be okay. So thank you, Ms. Burnell. So I will invite Mr. Ted Teichert. Close. Council President, don't blame me. Blame this guy right here.
That's okay. It's a tough name.
So, sir,
it's Teichert.
Teichert, okay.
Yeah.
So, sir, same question. Why are you interested in this position?
I'd like to say, why not? But with my background, 15 years of public service through the town I grew up in, I feel as though I'd be qualified for this job. I've dealt with numerous elections, running elections, seeing how they work with our town clerk in the town I lived in, which is Andover, and I feel it'll be a natural position. With my skill sets that I've done with my regular job, I'm a people person. I like to collaborate with people, and I also like to bring new, fresh ideas to the city of Lawrence.
Thank you, sir. Now I'm going to ask the same question to Ms. Damaris Ruiz. So, Ms. Ruiz, why are you interested in this position?
I've been working in the city clerk's office for 12 years. I've been working for the city for 21 years. That said, I pretty much feel like I'm here. I don't have any plans on going anywhere. I've learned a lot in that office. In the 12 years that I've worked in that office, I pretty much run that whole department, from birth certificates to ordering public hearings. I I still need to learn the aspects of the elections office, but I'm positive that in less than 3 months, I'll be solid with the same expertise as I am at the city clerk's office. I feel like I'm young and I'm motivated to keep learning and to keep expanding my career in that sense. But I feel that if I am given the opportunity to continue what I'm doing, I was acting for 7 months, then I was acting for 3 months. That's a total of almost a year. And I haven't had any complaints. I've been doing the job. I feel that if there was any issues, I would have been confronted and told, oh, you're doing this wrong, you did a total mess, and as you see, I'm still here, and I'm still working, and I'm still doing everything that you guys asked for.
Thank you, Ms. Ruiz. Council President, I relinquish the floor.
Thank you. Are there any other members of the City Council who have questions for the candidates? Mr. Del Rosario.
Ms. Bernard, some questions for, mix it up? No, some question for, change the order? Sure, just because it gives the people in the So you want to change the order? Okay, no problem.
Should I?
Ms. Bernard, and thank you. In a city where most of the residents are Latino and Spanish speaking, how are we gonna, how you think you're gonna do in that office when there's nobody to translate and most of the people looking for service are speaking Spanish to you?
That's a very fair question, and I do not speak Spanish. I do understand Spanish pretty well. I've studied it for 4 years in high school and 4 years of college. I also was a chief of staff to Mayor Rivera, and I can take a phone number and get somebody to call you back in Spanish. I can, believe it or not, I can get myself understood. I think the most important thing to remember is our record keeping is done in English. Our election laws are done in English, and our council meetings are hosted in English. So I do think a strong grasp of the English language is vital to this job. I'm an excellent writer, and I think you'll see that the product I put out to represent your body will be top quality. I would be relying on staff for a lot of translation, absolutely. But I think that would be expected for most candidates. I am not going to pretend that I'm something I'm not. I do live here. I do understand Spanish. I do not speak it, and both in my role at the police department and in my role in the mayor's office, I encountered situations where I didn't speak English dealt with constituents who did not speak English, and I always was able to come up with a resolution, either being able to get enough information from them to get a call back, or being able to get enough information for them to find a second party to help assist me. But it is an issue. It's not, but I've always been able to resolve it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other questions by members of the council? Councilor Levy.
May I do the same question to all the 3 candidates?
Certainly, you can do that. My only request is if you kind of change the order, who answers the question first. That's a request that I have.
Okay. Yes, please. Ms. Beldan.
What I mean by that is, she's always answering it first. Can we ask somebody else to come up first is kind of where I'm going.
Whatever you want. Okay.
Please.
I defer to you. You're the boss.
Why do you consider like the best person for this job?
Why do I consider the best person? I can't speak for the other candidates, so I can't tell you. I just know for myself, I do think I am qualified to do this job. I think I have a legal background that I bring to the job. I'm not going to pretend that I'm going to know the answer to every single question on the first day, but I will tell you this. I know the resources that are available. I know who to ask if I don't know the answer, and I can solve the problem. So I do think I have very strong problem-solving skills that I'll bring to this job, that if I don't know the answer, and I'm not going to pretend no one knows the answer to every question, I know where to logically find the answer. So I do think I've been able to resolve a lot of problems, both through the mayor's office, through the police department. I know what resources are available, and I know how to utilize them. So I think bringing those skills to this office would be really helpful to myself, to the staff that's there already, to you as counselors, to help you resolve issues that you might encounter. I hope that answers your question.
Yes, let me do the other.
Yep, you got it.
What can you do for us, for the city, that maybe the other candidate will not do?
Again, I can't speak to what the other candidates will or will not do, but I do know that I will be extremely dedicated to this job. I do know that Lawrence is my home. I live here. I'm raising my family here. I'm invested in the city. My husband and I have chosen to own a home here. You know, I pay my excise taxes to this city. We are very committed to Lawrence. So I think that commitment to the city, and I also think most of you know me. You see me through the police department and through the mayor's office. You know that I care about the city. You see the work product that I put out there. I do think that you're familiar with my work. So in that sense, I do think I am a known commodity. Love me or not, or hate me, whichever it is. You know what you're getting. It's not a surprise. And I do think I do have a solid reputation. I do think I'm a hard worker. And I hope to bring that same work ethic to this job.
Mr.
Anything else
Beran,
before-
you know that this is practically a Hispanic community.
I do.
And sometimes it's a little hard to work, and this is a very busy place, you know, but I don't know how many people they are coming every day, but it's very hard. How would you be managing, you know, that sometimes you don't have like the staff just to help you and speak like the language and deal with this situation?
Sure. So as I mentioned to Councilor De Rosario, I understand Spanish fairly well. I usually can understand enough to know what you need and be able to either get somebody to call you back or to work with you on an issue. If someone is coming in and asking for a birth certificate, I'm going to understand them and be able to get them back a birth certificate. If somebody's coming in with a longer, more complicated question, I'm going to need some help, absolutely. And I don't pretend that I wouldn't. As I mentioned, I think knowing the election law, which is going to be in English, you know, being able to deal with the postings and the council regulations, which are going to be in English, and being able to deal with the records compliance, which is going to be in English, is vital for this position. And those are things that I do know and I will be able to help you with. Will there ever be people that come to the counter that I might need some help assisting? Absolutely. But I will think, when I chaired the ordinance committee, about half of the people that came in looking for licenses and permits didn't speak English. And they were able to understand each other, and I was able to help them pretty well. So I do think if you're patient, you're willing to listen and work things through, I think for the most part, you can make yourself understood. And I think because I'm a patient person and I'm willing to listen to people, I have a lot of empathy. I think that had very good results with the people through the ordinance committee, many of whom did not speak English, and we had very good results.
Thank you. Mr. President, through you, I would like to call Mr. Ted Churchill. So, Mr. Ted, thank you for coming and thank you for applying for this position. And did you hear my question?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to ask you, like the same, how you deal in this community that is practically Hispanic. And so in the office that you, or the things that you are applying as a city clerk, most of the people that come into our office is Hispanic.
Mhm.
Okay, how will you be able, sometimes that's when you don't have a staff that speaks or that can help you?
Well, I gotta say, you know, when I was in high school, I used to take numerous courses, and you'd always say to yourself, why am I taking algebra? Why am I taking a foreign language? Well, I'm so fortunate that I still retain some of that from the days of high school, and I'm very glad I took Spanish in high school. I don't speak it fluently like that, but I know some words. But there's a thing today that we have phones, right? And there's Google Translate. So through communication and stuff, another way of technology helps people to understand the language. You could go to Google Translate, and that would help. But I'd also probably take a crash course on the languages as well. But And if I didn't know anything, it's okay probably to get back to someone within a certain amount of time, not a long time, but if you can get back within 24 hours of somebody, if no one's around there and I still don't understand it, I'll be glad to ask to someone else in the department or someone else in City Hall, but I could always get back to them.
Thank you. Why do you consider yourself like the best person for this position?
I believe that, you know what, I'm going to bring a fresh face to this City Hall. I have different ideas, I can go into them later, but I feel we can do some new things, some exciting things. I've had contacts with other communities that I relate to them to see what they're doing as well and bring the best practices from other communities here to Lawrence.
What is the best thing that you're going to bring to this city or as a position as the city clerk?
I said some of the new ideas, and I'll tell you one of them is that I like to develop a mobile city hall or a mobile city clerk office that can go to the different communities and bring the information to the people. I think it's never been done. You can go to different events, you can go to your local supermarket, bring the information to the people, make it easier access for the people, is one of my ideas. And also, I want to make sure, I know some of your forms are online, I want to make sure that all forms are online to fill out, or permits, but also be able to pay for them as well. So different ideas is exciting to bring to a new community.
What is your strengths and your weaknesses for this job?
I'm very personable, you know. I'd like to have lunch with you someday. I'll do it with anybody, you know. I want also, one of the new ideas is that I'd like to go with you into your neighborhoods. Have the city clerk go into your neighborhood, in Payano. I'd like to do that, all of you, and meet the people, the families and friends, and give them the best information we can, hands-on. So I'm very personable, very approachable.
Thank you, Mr. Sept.
Thank you.
To apply for this job. I would like to call Ms. Ruiz Garcia Damari. Hi.
Hello.
But I know that you speak both English and Spanish, and do you understand very well, I think so, that both language. But you hear my question.
Yes.
Okay, how do you deal day to day with people at the city clerk?
How do I deal with them day to day? The language is not a barrier, so if there is a question, usually one of the staff will get me and I'll be able to help them.
So do you like to work with both? The English and Spanish and sometimes in other communities?
Spanish is actually my first language. That's why my voice sometimes is a little, you know, it's not perfect because it is my first language, and then the second language is English. But I was born obviously in the United States, so I went to school, I learned English as a second language, but I do write and speak both fluently.
What new will you bring if you get a position to the city clerk office?
I will continue to work with the staff, work to improve. There's a lot of things that still need improving in that office, and I just haven't had the chance to do it because as I went from assistant to acting, and then back to assistant, and now back to acting, there was no really time from jumping from one to another. So I was assistant for a very short amount of time, like a month, before I became acting for 7 months. And then I went back to assistant. So my role as an assistant, I was helping the new city clerk get accustomed to everything, having to teach her like the different ways we do business here in Lawrence, because when you come from a different community, it's not the same. There's different rules, there's different things, there's different steps. Getting accustomed to how she liked to do the work as opposed how I was doing the work prior. Now I'm back as an acting, so I kind of had to like accustom myself back to what I was used to, because it was difficult to navigate going from someone to do the way they wanted to do the work prior than how I was doing it, and then going back to, oh, I can do this the way I used to do it because I'm doing it.
What is your strength and your weakness?
My strength is I am very knowledgeable. I learn, very fast learner. And like I said before, I know the office through and through. I started as a senior clerk, just doing counter, just doing the mail, just typing up marriages, to doing everything else. So I know everything that happens in that office, from, like I said, customer coming in with an issue with a birth certificate, with a death certificate. I usually am the one who fixes the issues, as well as doing all the work for the city council. Oh, that was my strength. My weakness? My weakness, I would say public speaking. I just need to work more and be more comfortable with myself speaking to others.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other counselors who wish to ask questions or comments? No? Okay. I'm not sure what Councilor Del Rosario is, but at this point, we're losing counselors like flies. This is not.
Council President, I think he'll be in like a minute.
Very good. That was a quick minute. Thank you, Councilor Del Rosario. At this point, what I think we should do is, if there's no further questions and we are satisfied, each counselor is satisfied with the candidates, and feel comfortable to go ahead and take a vote. What we're going to do is, I'm actually keeping roll here. I'm going to go through the roll, and I'm going to ask each counselor which individual is it that you are selecting. Again, just need 5 votes. If somebody gets 5 votes after we finish that, it's over. If somebody gets less than 5 votes, the person with the fewest amount is off, and the top 2 go. So that's how we're going to do it. Call the roll. Council, and identify which candidate you select. Councilor Levy.
Eileen Bernard.
Councilor Dela Cruz.
Council President, I have a question for you.
Councilor, sure. Yes?
Is there a way that we can do a private vote among us?
No.
And then we'll
No, this
decide?
is a very public vote at this point.
No.
This is the way we have to do it. So you have to provide for me a name of an individual that you are selecting.
Eileen Bernard.
Councilor Payano.
Eileen Burnell.
Vice President Reyes.
Arlene Bernard.
Councilor Rodriguez. Absent. Councilor Del Rosario.
Damari Ruiz.
Councilor Selena Reyes.
Eileen Bernal.
Councilor Infante.
Eileen Burnell.
And the chair votes for Councilor Burnell. Congratulations, Councilor Burnell.
Council President.
Councilor Payano.
Thank you, Council President. I just want to thank
Yes.
everyone that applied to this. Thank you for giving your time and applying for this position. Also, want to thank our assistant clerk for constantly stepping up and sort of all the work that she does. I think, within the committee, this was a tough decision. Yeah, and I just kind of wanted to say those words. Thank you.
Well said, Mr. Chairman, and thank you for your leadership on this item as we progress through it. And and these are never easy, as you mentioned, never easy decisions, because these are people who want the job and they want it badly, and not everybody can get it. So we've all been there. So, but I do thank Mr. Ted Tigert. Thank you for a former selectman, Tigert, for his interest, and our own assistant city clerk as well. So thank you. Councilors, on this note, this is the first step. The second step is as we mentioned briefly earlier with the Councilor Levy, we do engage in a contract discussion. There is no surprises here, we have another election coming up. There's a lot of work that needs to be done, and the sooner we can get our new city clerk who give whatever notice she's required to give or would like to give to her current employer, and then transition. But we need to move forward on a contract. We also have to do with the city attorney. The city attorneys will be coming up at our next full city council meeting, and so these things are happening, and we need to move on them. All this is to this point. I'm looking to schedule a special meeting next week strictly for the negotiations with Ms. Burnell. We will engage in we will talk amongst ourselves in an executive session to figure out where we are as a group on that, and then we will come into a public session as soon as we figure out where we are, and we will hear from Ms. Burnell. What I would like to do is I'd like to direct the personnel director to give the boilerplate language that we offered to the previous assistant clerk to Ms. Burnell as a starting point, so she understands what the language was, so we start at some point. At this point, I would also maybe, because I don't want to speak out of turn, Director, can you just give us a little more just guidance as process? I just want to make sure we're doing things the right way here with respect to it. I think going into executive session and then coming back and having that and giving Ms. Burnell the document or a sample boilerplate would be a good first step. Would that be wise counsel?
I would absolutely agree with that. I think any, negotiations back and forth should be in the executive session. I don't think it would be appropriate to do it in public at this point. So, does that answer your question? Are you looking for a little more?
No, that does it. When we are in executive session, does executive session also include with Ms. Burnell, or is that?
Yes.
That would be with Ms. Burnell in executive session. Okay.
Yes.
That's good. Okay. Thank you.
Of course.
So I'm looking to schedule next week. I know we got a lot of stuff going on. Let's go through the agenda. At the end of this meeting, we'll go through the subcommittees, and then let's figure out which one is the least amount, and we'll have it. Council Payan, I know you want to show up to another special meeting, so we'll make that happen. Why are you looking?
It's called lack of sleep, Council President. I find everything funny.
So, Council Burnell, I don't know what date that special meeting is going to be yet. We will find that out fairly soon. We're going to continue on with the meeting agendas. Housing Committee is next on here. Is there a Vice Chair of the Housing Committee? Oh, thank you. Madam Vice Chair of the Housing Committee, document 277. Councilor Selena Reyes, thank you. All right, document 27722, disposition of real property.
Certainly.
What is the motion that you, what came out of committee? Motion came out of the committee to adopt this item. Is there a second to the motion?
Second.
Seconded by Councilor Del Rosario. Discussion? Councilor Payano.
Thank you, Council President. I'm just trying to So if Mr. Cirillo can just give a quick presentation onto this item, I would appreciate it.
Sure. Francisco Cirillo, Asset Officer for the City of Lawrence. Mr. Rigoberto is the abutting property owner, and he's been giving up the adjoining property and using it clean for years, and he wants it for parking for himself and his tenants. And we're doing it in the form of a yard sale.
Mr. Cirillo, can you talk us through why the sales price is $31.50 while the assessed value is $4,600?
So the yard sale is $1 per square foot.
I'm sorry, Mr. Cirillo, can you say that one more time?
The yard sale is going to be sold at $1 per square foot is through the mayor's yard sale program. So this is a good opportunity, a lot that's just been empty for years, to become part of the tax roll again. The owners will have plans made where they're going to merge the two lots together. So there's going to be one lot property, and there's huge restrictions that you can see in the paperwork. They're only going to be allowed to use it for green space or parking, so they cannot go and build on the property. And Mr. Roberto and his family have been keeping the property clean from debris and everything for years.
Mr. Cirillo, what ward is this in?
Ward?
Yeah, do you know?
No.
Councilor De Rosario, I know that in the area, I can't recall if it's C or D. Is this in your district?
Archer Street?
District C. Okay. To the individual that we're disposing the property, I'm wondering how many more they're going to be using this for parking. How many vehicles do they believe they'll be able to park there?
They have 4. It's 4.
So that they have 4, or they will be increasing to 4 more, to whatever they have?
4 más. Yes.
So they'll have 8?
Total will be 8.
Okay. Thank you, Council President. No further questions.
Thank you. Are there any other members of the committee wish to speak on, or members of the council wish to speak on this item? The matter before us, I just want to make sure we're clear.
Rigoberto Matun. Several conditions that are listed, yeah. Yep. So
that's the motion. The motion is with that individual, the price, and the 7 conditions, and properly second. Any further discussion on this matter? Did you get all that? Okay. All in favor say aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it. Congratulations, sir.
thank you. And congratulations, Counselor and Madam Chair, who's disappeared.
Are there any other tabled matters that anybody wishes to take off the table this evening? Seeing none? Oh, yes, sir.
Just one moment. Could I take item 389-18, Department Heads Quarterly Report?
Motion to take document 389-18 has been made by Councilor Piano. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion is seconded by Councilor De La Rosario. Discussion. Seeing none, all in favor say aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it. Councilor Piano.
Thank you, Council President. I just wanted to ask the my colleagues if they have received quarterly reports for all the different department heads. I know I received the police department, the cemetery, and I believe that there's one more that I received, but I'm wondering if other members have received any additional departments, because we did set a deadline, and I believe the deadline was the end of August. So,
Councilors, Mr. Piano, I do recall seeing those two that you mentioned. I don't have a memory of others. They may be others, I just don't recall them.
library, okay.
Also Galak, it's in our mailboxes now, but other than that,
I'm sorry, Council President, I did not hear the what?
Greater Lawrence Community Action Council, their report is in our mailboxes as well.
Okay, yes. So, Council President, I'd like to make a motion that we send correspondence to all the department heads that have not submitted a report, and we ask them to come in front of us at the next council meeting.
Second.
A motion to invite those department heads who have not submitted their quarterly reports to at the next full city council meeting in 2 weeks has been properly seconded by Councilor Del Rosario. Discussion?
Council President, I was going to say I wanted to add something to that correspondence, but I don't know. I mean, the council, we gave a month. We kind of stated that this is a rule. It's an ordinance. It's a law that we've haven't been ensuring its execution because of COVID, to give all departments, we're talking about previous administrations, to ensure that department heads had the opportunity to do that emergency work that they were doing. We asked all department heads to submit this. They did not. I don't know what type of language we could add to ensure our displeasure of them not doing this. So I just wanted to publicly just say that. And if others want to add to that motion, I'd be open to accepting that as a friendly addition.
So the motion's been made, it's been properly seconded. The only thing I would maybe or ask for consideration is if they do send a quarterly report, then there's no need for them to attend, correct?
I would say, Council President, these individuals, every department head had over a month to submit the report. They did not. I believe, I would hope that before they come before us, a report is submitted. But I also believe that I'd be interested to understand why a report wasn't submitted as well.
There you go. So motion's been made, properly second. Discussion, Councilor Infante.
Thank you, Council President. I would like to take my comment back. I had a moment forgetting that Greater Lawrence Family Community Action Council is not, it's its own entity, but I think that's a great example to see external organizations sending us their reports. That's a good example.
Thank you, Councilor. You're exactly right.
Yes, Mr. President.
Councilor Levy.
I agree with Councilor Payano because before he requested about 2 or 3 weeks ago, I already having requested and remind those people about the report. So it's been more than a month and a half that we sent the first correspondent asking for the quarterly report, and still they haven't not responded to us. So I think so that this is not right, and that's something we need as a council to do something.
The only recommendation I would have, Councilor Payano, is that if you're not finding that there's satisfaction, you would talk to their boss, which is the mayor, and let the mayor be aware that this is something that you want to see happen or a priority for the council.
So I would say, Council President, the last time that we did this, that the department, this is nothing new. The last time the department heads did not submit, right? What we did is that we asked them to come in front of us. So I mean, I don't think, I take back the comment. I'm not interested as to the why things weren't submitted, on time. If a department head were to email us saying that they required more time, I think all of us would be okay with that. That there hasn't been any communication, so I just think that any department head that, the other 3 department heads, we had sufficient time to have conversations with them if we so wanted to. Any future department head that is not submitting their reports on time will have the opportunity to come before of us and submit their report to us. I know that means that it might require a lot more time from us, but I think that these reports are important to ensure transparency within our city, and all the department heads are doing really incredible work. And I think that this is an opportune time for the council to hear about that work and for the community to hear about it as well.
Are you altering your motion?
Am I what?
You altering your motion? It sounds like if they came back with an email saying they needed more time.
Correct.
So it sounds like you're altering it a little bit.
Yes.
So the motion has been amended.
I'm sorry. May I say something? Mr.
Sure, I
Payano?
was just going to clarify what I think the motion is, and I certainly would come back to you. What I think I hear what the motion is right now is that Mr. Payano's motion is to require that the department heads who have not submitted to come before us unless they communicate to the council saying they need more time. In which case, I think Councilor Payano's motion would be that we would allow for more time. Is that correct, Mr. Payano? Okay, so that's the motion. Councilor Levy.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. Payano, can we ask, so they say that they needed more time, just to let them know what is the time, the specific 1 week, 2 weeks, that they should?
I will
Thank you.
accept that as a friendly amendment.
Friendly amendment's been accepted to provide a time certain from the departments as to how much time do they need, and then give us that time. Any further comments, amendments, discussion? Seeing none, discussion is complete. I'll call the roll. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The ayes have it. And we're going to retable that motion, that item.
Motion to table.
Motion's been tabled.
Second.
It's been made by Mr. Payano, seconded by Councilor Levy. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The ayes have it. Any other tabled matter? Seeing now, we're going to new business. Document number 296, Traffic Study Review, Sunset Ave, One-Way, Council del Rosario, Ordinance Committee. Document 297, Stop Sign, Forest Street, Southeast Forest Street, and Crescent Street facing Forest Street, Council del Rosario, Ordinance Committee. Stop Sign, 29822, Stop Sign, Forest Street, northeast corner of Forest Street facing Crescent Street, Council del Rosario, Ordinance Committee. Document 29922, Loaning Zone 362, Essex Street, Vice President Estela Reyes. That's going to the Ordinance Committee. 322, Neighborhood Safety Initiative is going to the Public Safety Committee. That's put on by the mayor. Document 30122, Handicap Parking, 41 Milton Street, is going to the Ordinance Committee. Document 30222, Resident Parking Only, Basswood Street from 6 p.m. to 6 a.m., put on by Vice President Reyes, Ordinance Committee. 30322, One-Way, Basswood Street, put on by Vice President Reyes, Ordinance Committee. Document 30422, Traffic Study, Avon Street, from Berkeley to Jackson Street, put on by Vice President Reyes, Ordinance Committee. 30522, Traffic Study Review, Essex Street, from Ames to Milton, put on by Councilor Rodriguez, is going to the Ordinance Committee. Document 30622, appointment of Sarah Zildana to the Commission of Disability, is going to the, hold on, it's going to the Personnel Committee. Yes, Mr. Chairman.
I'd like to make the request, when the case go in front of the person community, for them to contact me at my email, so I could be there.
Very good. Can we make a note of that? Thank you, Mr. Rodriguez. Thank you so much. We will do that. Document 30722, drop-off pickup parking space, 9 Forest Street, 6:30 a.m. to 6:30 p.m. Monday through Friday, Ordinance Committee. 30822, change of Bradford Street from one-way to two-way between Hampshire and Franklin Street, Counselor Rodriguez, that's going to the Ordinance Committee. 30922, handicap parking, 182 Water Street, is going to the Ordinance Committee. Document 31022, surplus declaration, 103 Bodwell Street, map 186, lot 91, is going to the Housing Committee. Document number 31122, no parking sign, 240 Salem Street, is going to the Ordinance Committee. Document 31222, stop sign at the intersection of Lennox Circle and Jefferson Street, put on by Councilor Infante. She actually put the previous document as well, the 240 Salem Street. Both of those are going to the Ordinance Committee. Document 31322, secondhand dealer license, Dana Furniture LLP, 45 Amesbury Street. That is going to the Ordinance Committee. Speaking of the Ordinance Committee, when is the Ordinance Committee meeting? Council Vice President. You have no items to the ones we just
But
referred.
I'm still gonna schedule my meeting for next Tuesday, same time.
Housing Committee. Madam Vice Chair. Wednesday, this might be a short one. This might be the night we do a special meeting, so maybe. Wednesday at what time? Maybe 7? I might shift it earlier at 6:30 if we have a special. Does that work? 6? Okay. So let's find out what else. Is there a budget? I didn't see any budget stuff. Did we have budget there? No budget. That might be free. Public Safety. Who's the Vice Public Safety? We have one item.
Wednesday might be the special meeting.
What I'm thinking about doing is if the Housing Committee meets, and it looks like it would be a short meeting, a 6:30 meeting for housing, we could have a 7 o'clock meeting to have the special city council meeting.
Okay,
On
Thursday
Wednesday.
at 6 then?
Say it again?
Thursday at 6?
It's up to you. It works.
Thursday at 6.
Thursday at 6. Personnel. We have a personnel one. One item.
So hold on, so there's a housing committee on Wednesday. Monday, oh, I mean, can we do Wednesday too? I mean, it's one item. Okay, so. Okay.
I'm sorry,
Yeah.
sorry, yes, yes.
Yep.
6 o'clock personnel on Wednesday, 6:30 Housing Committee on Wednesday, 7 o'clock special meeting, full city council, 7 o'clock. So you're already here anyway. We'll wrap it up. So I think we got all the meetings, is that right? Am I missing anything? You want comp time, what you say?
I approve that.
All right, are we all set? So Councilor Brunel, are you available for a special meeting on Wednesday night?
Yes.
At 7 o'clock? Okay. Stop. That's it. Is there a motion to adjourn?
To adjourn.
Motion made by Councilor Pino, seconded by Councilor Levy. All in favor say aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it.